Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the September 18th meeting of the Post Falls Urban Renewal Commission. I would like to call the meeting to order and ask Executive Assistant Diane Fountain to please call the roll.
Thank you. Commissioner Baltzell?
Here.
Babbage?
Here.
Karstensen?
Here.
Crosby?
Here.
Wunderlich?
Here.
Coles?
Here.
Rariman?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, and Commissioner Karstensen will lead us in Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, are there any ceremonies, appointments, or announcements that need to take place at this time? Anyone is aware of? Okay. There's been several items that have surfaced since the original agenda was posted, and I'd like to call your attention to items 8C, 8D, 4E, 8E, and 8F. I would like those items considered to be added to the agenda, so I would like a motion to approve the amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to amend the agenda to include those items.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Karstensen. I think we can do a voice vote on that.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Are there any conflict disclosures that need to be addressed this morning on any subject that the Commission is going to consider? Okay. There being none, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Diane?
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Baltzell and Commissioners. Item A in the consent calendar this morning is the Commission minutes of August 21st. Item B are the Commission workshop minutes of September 10th. Item C is the payables for the month totaling $501,916.34. The payables include pay request number 2 for Cameron Riley on the City Center Revitalization Project, and in the amount of $207,272.24. Pay request number 2 for Wadsworth Construction on the Greens Ferry Overpass for $214,022.61, and payment to JUB for $22,307.25. Item D is the bank activity report, which shows total funds in all accounts of $7,254,252.55 and accrued interest for the month of $1,096.67. Item E is the financial reports as of August 31st that are printed from our in-house QuickBooks accounting system and will be posted to our website as usual. Item F is the fiscal year 2015 legal services contract. Item G, the FY 2015 chamber lease. Item H is the Canon copier lease. Item I are Welsh Comer task orders for Tullamore Commons 2, Copper Basin, and Point Partners. Item J is the relocation assistance procedure. Your approval of the consent calendar will authorize the transfer of $1,096.67 accrued interest to the general fund and transfer to the IMB checking account of $501,916.34 for general payables. A check has been issued in the amount of $7,740 for the agency office lease, which is due by October 5th. Chairman Baltzell, I would answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions on the consent calendar as presented? These items came forward from our workshop. I think you've had a chance to do that, but are there any other questions while we have the opportunity? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I'd make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Coles.
Roll call vote, please.
Roll
yes.
call, okay.
Sorry. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Crosby?
Aye.
Karstensen?
Aye.
Baltzell?
Aye.
Coles?
Aye.
Babbage?
Aye.
Rariman?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you very much. Committee updates, Finance and Policy. Commissioner Karstensen.
We are having a Finance Committee meeting on October 2nd. prior to the next workshop to discuss the funds flow for the Spokane Street project. That's about it at this time.
Okay, very good. Any questions on finance and policy at this time? Okay, district review.
I don't have anything new to report, but I would like to meet again fairly soon to continue updating the district reviews that are in place now. So I'll probably be sending something out the next week.
Do you have a focus on what the next one that you're going to look at would be?
I don't. I think the last one we did was Foursquare. So I'm trying to think of what the next oldest one is. Do you know, Diane?
Maybe West Saltese.
That's pretty small, so we should go through that.
You might
before
want to
too
do
long.
two
Might
of
do
them.
two.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll just work on the oldest ones, get the oldest ones
Worked
up to
fine.
date.
You've done a really good job
Diane's done
with
a great
Diane's
job.
help in doing that, so we have a good understanding of it and can determine whether there's anything we need to do to try to affect any change or improvements or timing or whatever on that. So keep up that good work. We'll look forward to hearing from you next month or in November, one or the other, however long it takes. Communications property.
Chairman, before we leave that
Yes.
topic, could I request the committee, if they could, at some point in the next several months, take a look at the expo, since we're effectively close to paying off our obligation in that, and bring back to a workshop, possibly a discussion on extending or continuing or terminating that district, and that seems to me to be a timely topic.
Sure.
That might be a
Thank
good
you.
one to add into West Celtics.
Thank you.
Yeah. You okay with that?
Yes.
I'm good with it too. Okay, communications, property, and personnel.
The committee has finished its review of the executive director. Jerry and I held a review with him on Tuesday, and the committee would like to recommend a 4% increase that we've budgeted for.
Okay. We do that by voice vote or roll call vote, once we have a motion.
Well, I think that we have an employment agreement with the executive director. We don't?
Not since he's an employee.
Oh, okay.
When he was a contract employee, we had a contract with him.
All right. You could just approve the
committee's
increase.
proposal.
I would do a roll call vote, though.
Okay.
'Cause
I'd
it could be
entertain a
construed.
motion to accept the recommendation of the Personnel Committee relative to the Executive Director.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Any discussion first?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, is there a written report? I'd like to read a written report before I vote on something like that.
On the
so that I-
review?
Yes, on the review.
Yes, there is. It's in the file at the agency.
And would each of the commissioners need to go to the agency to review that, or how would we share that with each of us?
The committee did develop the review,
Yes, sir.
and then the review was conducted by myself and Mr. Coles
Yes, sir.
with the executive director, which is the way that process goes. It isn't out for the committee to review by 7 of us necessarily.
Sure. Before I vote, though, I'd like to just
But
take
I
a
would
look.
think that would be certainly acceptable. Other than that, you're going to be holding up the action to, for any salary increase until the October meeting.
I'd like to review it before I vote on it, but
I would like to review it too.
I'm just one member of the commission, so, I mean, I could certainly vote against the motion, or we can amend the motion, or I'm happy with either. I'd just like an opportunity to review on something before I vote on it.
All right. What about the rest of you?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I would
Do
be
that at
willing
the
to go
workshop.
along with the recommendation of the people that reviewed them,
The Personnel Committee.
Personnel Committee, right?
Deborah? Any comments?
I think Len's request is reasonable. We asked.
Okay, I don't think we had a motion on the floor yet, so.
We do have a
We
motion.
do have a
Did we?
motion on the floor.
Okay. The motion to be withdrawn?
Well, it looks like if the motion goes forward, it's gonna be a tie. 'Cause three of you want to review the report. And, I don't know about
I've already
Commissioner
seen it.
Babbitt.
I'm on the committee, so
Coles.
I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm fine if they want to look at it. We can always make his increase retroactive.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think a motion to continue this matter would be appropriate then, at this time.
Okay.
If-
Can we do that with another motion on the floor?
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, I would move that we continue the matter until each of the committee, for no longer than our next meeting, so that each of the committee members has an opportunity, if they choose, to go to the commission office and review the results of the committee work.
And is that in form of an amendment to the
It-
original motion?
That's the way I understand it. I construe it as an amendment to the original motion, so.
Is there a second on that amendment?
Second.
Second on the amendment. So we vote on the amendment first.
Yes.
All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we'll pass that, and that will then take us to the postponement of action.
It's already been postponed. By passing the amendment, it's been postponed.
That's postponed, okay. And to the next commission workshop, or commission meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Thank you for the work that you all did. I can tell you that I think the review was well thought out, covered all of the things that I think needed to be. We had a very good review with Mr. Lean, and I think you'll find it when you read it. So would you also please confirm to Director Lean or to Diane when you've done that, so she knows that everybody's had a shot at it, and some have already seen it, so we don't need to, but, okay? So we know that it's on track to be on the next system. Okay, good, thank you. Time for citizen comments. This section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the commission regarding an agency-related issue. Comments related to future public hearings should be held for that public hearing. Persons wishing to speak will have 5 minutes. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the commission? Got smiling faces out there, but okay, great. Thank you. All right. Moving on, unfinished business, Spencer Street.
Okay, you have the consent letter from Washington Trust Bank. It was included in your packet this morning. The consent acknowledges that the agency has shown evidence of adequate sources of funds to complete both the Greens Ferry overpass and the Spencer Street extension.
Okay. Any questions on any of that? It's pretty straightforward. I saw the document, as most of you did, I'm sure. And basically, just as their acknowledgement that everything looks good from their standpoint for us to be able to move forward.
Correct.
And so what we would be looking at is the commission to make a motion and directing staff to proceed with the planning and execution of the project. So I would entertain that motion.
I'd make that motion to proceed with that project.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I think we've waited for this project for a long time for it to come together, and I think it definitely is doing that now. So no other discussion?
Just one question. Obviously, we have to wait for some pronouncement by the railroad as to the crossing, so that
Yes.
moving forward with the project is really contingent on the city's negotiations with the railroad.
negotiation, yes.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, you're welcome. Shelley, do you by chance have any current information on that particular subject with the railroad? Sorry to
Not really.
put you on the spot.
Mr. Melvin had sent me an email last week just saying that everything is progressing and we are expecting to see documents. And when you say soon with the railroad, that's 2 to 4 months. So hopefully we'll be able to move forward in the spring.
Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you, Shelley.
You're welcome.
Okay. See, it's been moved and seconded. We've had discussion. That'd be roll call vote.
No, just a voice
Just a
vote on
voice
that.
vote?
Yeah.
Voice vote? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Approval of the revised note and purchase and secured agreement for funding of the Greens Ferry overpass. And that would be connected to Resolution 2014-02.
Correct. The first amendment to the Post Falls Urban Renewal Agency Allocation Note Series 2013, it changes the date of the first payment on the note to September 1st, 2015. And the first amendment to the note purchase and security agreement also reflects the date of September 1st, 2015 as the first semi-annual payment date.
Right. Okay, very good. Any discussion? May just should note for the public that the reason for doing that and putting off that first payment date is because of the nature of the timing of right-of-way acquisition and the funding that's being required, that we will be funding upfront with dollars that we currently have before we access loan funds. And that would be the primary reason. It's actually going to save us considerable amount of interest on our debt picture. So, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the revised note and security agreement.
And adopt the resolution.
Adopt the resolution, yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crosby. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Wunderlich. Aye. Crosby.
Aye.
Carstensen.
Aye.
Baltzell.
Aye.
Coles.
Aye.
Babich.
Aye.
Rariman. Aye.
Motion carried, thank you. Greens Ferry overpass update.
On the Greens Ferry overpass, the current month expenses are $238,929.86, bringing the total expenses to date on the project $1,540,093.05. And on the schedule, the right-of-way acquisition process continues, and the project team meeting met on Tuesday. I don't know if Larry has any comments on that.
There was nothing earth-shaking. There was a little setback on the right-of-way acquisition with one party. And obviously, they're diligently working on that yet. But they're still looking like time frame is still going to continue very close to where it was with the initial project. As you can tell by driving down the interstate, you don't see any activity yet. But all the activity is being done in a office setting with right-of-way and utilities and that stuff yet. So things are moving along. It's just a matter of waiting to see the dirt turning.
Columns go up in the middle of the freeway.
Yeah, that's gonna be, we are planning, or they are planning on having a groundbreaking, hopefully yet this fall, somewhere out there. It was discussed, they're still trying to decide when and where, so we can get some more visibility, so to speak, and let people know what is going on. Other than that, not a lot new. The CRB, the Citizens Review Committee, met Tuesday morning, and that was interesting. You know, it's good to have them sitting in the room and discussing what their thoughts are and questions and why this and why that, and nothing real exciting on that either. It was good to get them together, good to hear their questions, good to get some of their stuff answered, but there was nothing of major concern at this point.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. We do have one success so far on the right-of-way acquisition, successful negotiations, and we have a right-of-way easement and warranty deed that needs to be processed. I'm assuming we need to have a motion to approve
Need a motion to approve the right-of-way contract with Greens Ferry Landing LLC.
Yeah.
The deed doesn't need to be approved, obviously, because that's, the grantor just executes the deeds.
That's the end result of that. Okay, very good. And that's on a parcel that is on the northeast corner of Greens Ferry and Mullen. And all it needs is for us to approve the right-of-way easement, which was within the characteristics of what we were expecting it to be, so that we can take the item to the courthouse and have it recorded. So I would entertain a motion to that effect.
Question, this is for signalization on Mullen?
I believe that's it, that piece
And I
is for.
think turn lane.
And a turn lane,
turn
I
lane.
think so, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the resolution reflecting the agreement to move forward with the acquisition of that property.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crosby. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Coles, second. Roll call vote?
Wunderlich.
Aye.
Crosby.
Aye.
Karstensen.
Aye.
Baltzell.
Aye.
Coles.
Aye.
Babich.
Aye.
Rehrman. Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Spokane Street funding schedule and loan documents.
Tom has been working with Community First Bank and legal counsel on preparing the loan documents for the Spokane Street financing. These are still in process and will be provided at the Finance Committee meeting that is scheduled for October 2nd for review prior to the October Commission workshop. We had a conference call yesterday and determined the updated timeline for what documents will be processed by whom and when. As shown on the timeline, we anticipate approving the resolution and loan documents at the October 8th workshop meeting and closing on November 12th. After approval, the resolution, Idaho Code 5027 requires a 30-day challenge period. Because of this, we will not draw on the loan until November. Since we will not have sufficient funds in City Center to pay the October construction and engineering draw requests, we will transfer the necessary funds from the agency's general fund to the City Center district. And after the November closing, those funds will be included in the bank draw and replaced to the general fund.
Okay.
The loan document sheet shows documents 1 through 17 with an X beside those that have already been generated. So there's only a few that still need to be done, and no action is required at this time.
Okay. Very good. I think that it's basically a housekeeping thing. We have to accommodate that 30-day period. We're able to do that with the dollars that we have on our hands. So this is basically information only, not action required. And then also, Director Lean was asked to put together a spreadsheet showing the flow of dollars and everything for the Spokane Street project, including the original contract change orders for reduction of scope that our committee had recommended, and then the adjustments that were recommended back, such as the curb and sidewalk items, to give us a net change. If you look at your document that you have in the lower left-hand corner, the net changes after the sidewalks and gutters on those three areas, and making available adequate funds to, there was a trellis area that was proposed that the committee withdrew, but from a safety standpoint, the city feels compelled that something should be there, so we put the money back in there, but what actually goes in there, I think, is yet to be determined.
Correct.
Because they feel it's a big safety issue. Net change, $66,556, so the total revised contract is down to $1,886,223, which that was good work on the part of the committee, I think. Did a good job, and working with the city on adjustments that we need to make to make it a good project. So, do we need an approval on that? The change order, I think, is informational.
We need a change order.
I think
well,
this item is concerning the curb and gutter that we discussed at the workshop last week, which is that the reductions in the contract amount, the change orders that implement those reductions, I think have already been approved by the commission. think what this is the additional work, the curb and gutter that was discussed at the meeting last week.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve adding the gutters and sidewalks for those 3 areas back in as was discussed at the
Right.
workshop.
Right.
Okay.
Just a question for clarification. I thought at our workshop we discussed this, and then we segued into the question of a pocket park. And there was some outstanding question about what, if we proceeded with the pocket park, what cost sharing could be structured with the city. And my impression from the workshop is that we did not agree to move forward with these 3 parcels, nor did we agree to move forward with the pocket park pending some information back from the city. Is that accurate?
I reread the minutes to try to get a handle on that as well. The way I read it is that the commission at the workshop were in favor of going forward to fix the 3 corners, but that the pocket park needed to have more work done and more coordination with the city to determine how much and if we're going to do that and when. That was not settled, and I think that piece was tabled. Did anybody get something different out of that? That's what I got from the notes. I think most of us agreed at the workshop that those 3 corner pieces should have been in there to begin with, and we're just trying to clean that piece up so that it matches and fits. The pocket park, I think there was enough debate as to whether it's something we should be doing, and if so, to what degree, and what's the city's role in that, and so on, that we hadn't been able to resolve. But I think there's still some time to get that resolved.
That's the way I understood it.
Is that the way you understood it? And
Well, I know I left the meeting with reservations about the sidewalk on First and Second, but
what were the reservations?
I think the cost is too high, and I don't think it was intended to be part of the Spokane Street improvements. There was never a discussion about it during the Spokane Street, all the planning for Spokane Street, so I just don't see it as part of that project, but I understand adding on while the equipment's there. I think the cost is too high, but that's just me.
In my observation is that I didn't realize that it wasn't in there until we were told it wasn't in there. And then I went down and drove through there, seeing what they're doing, and I thought, gosh, we can't. It doesn't make any sense to leave those 3 pieces out of there. Truly, it came on later, but I think there's some assumptions that at least some of us had that it was already part of it. And so I think that's...
Mike?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
As I mentioned last week, the cost to me was so minimal on this that I think we'd be remiss in not doing those 3 sections. I think we figured out, didn't you figure out, Len, it was about 2% or less? I think that be kind of ridiculous not to have a good, clean, nice-looking project when it's done for 2% of the total project cost.
Okay.
But I also agree that the pocket park was left hanging at that point.
My concern is that if I'm a property owner 2 lots in, what I'm seeing is my neighbor, who happens to have his property located on the corner, is receiving the benefit of a tax increment expenditure for sidewalk and curbing, but my burden of improving my property is not going to receive the same benefit. So my question is, are we advantaging 3 particular parcels with tax dollars and giving those property owners an advantage that the other people within the district don't have?
think just to expand on that, that this discussion didn't even come up until Director Lean was looking for ways to assist a business that wants to go in on, is it second? Is that the street? Second or third? But they, you know, really reaching out, trying to find ways to help that business take off. And it's a small business, but it's still a business. But I think that's why I have concern, is because it wasn't ever part of the discussion, whether it was left out or assumed, until Tom was looking for ways to help this one business, and then it expanded to a couple more streets. And I feel that that's not really fair to other property owners, kind of like Lynn does, but I don't know. I'm just having a hard time with it.
Okay, any other comments?
I didn't have any reservations with the extensions on the contract because it does provide for a more finished appearance, and you know, we're advantaging properties along Spokane Street, and it does add some additional frontage, but I think overall, call it the advantage to the one business that we talked about. It's a small advantage, but I think the overall finished look by doing those short extensions will make the overall project better.
And I think it outweighs the other concern in my mind. Okay, any other comments? Anyone? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the addition of the gutters and sidewalks on the 3 curbs areas that were proposed during the workshop. I would entertain that motion at this time.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
And moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? Okay, can I have a roll call vote on that, please?
Wunderlich.
Aye.
Crosby.
Aye.
Carstensen.
Aye.
Baltzell.
Aye.
Coles.
Aye.
Babich.
No.
Rehrman.
No.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, is there any new business to consider? Does anybody have any new business to consider at this time? Okay, if not, move on to staff report and updates.
I just have one comment that Tom had received an email from Alan Charton of Liberty Bankers regarding the improvements on the west side of Spokane Street, and they will wait until they get final plat approval for the subdivision for Block E, and they expressed their regret that they could not accommodate the timing of the Spokane Street Improvement Project at this time. So that's kind of off the table now.
That has to do with their replat request through the city.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we were gonna have them pay up front if they wanted the improvements done on the west side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not going to do that. They declined on that. As far as the pocket park goes, Matt is here, and I don't know if that will hold up the project, if we need to make a decision on that now, or, not now, but in the near future, and meet with the city and rediscuss that.
I think I'd like to hear from Matt and also from Shelley, any input that you have that can help us along the way here that we can take back, in my mind, to the next workshop and have more discussion.
Good morning. Matt Gillis, 350 East Kathleen, Coeur d'Alene. In contractual language, I don't think implementing the pocket park will raise the cost. It'll extend the timeout of the contract because we've waited so long. But remember, that was an ad alternate, and so it's all packaged into one thing. So we can just, or the commission can just award that at any time. The contractor, I would expect them to come back and say, okay, but I only have 10 days left on my contract. You need to give me a time extension. And that would probably put us into next spring for some of the planting and some of the work. But I don't think it's going to raise the cost. I think we've stubbed out a water service out there already, and so we're ready when you are. So I don't think there's a I don't think you have to decide today.
Just one clarification, Chairman. When you say you don't raise the cost, you mean wouldn't raise the cost over and above what that alternative
That's
would have
correct.
cost otherwise in the contract bid?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And that was
certainly, yes.
That was 100 and,
109 or something in there.
okay, thank you.
Shelley, can we call on you to add to that?
I think I was also confused. It was my understanding that I was supposed to go back to city council over the last week and find out whether they were on board with funding this pocket park. Also, Tom was supposed to get me some numbers. I didn't see any numbers, and I was in North Carolina. I just got back last night. So I did send an email, and council, the majority of council, I didn't hear from all of them, is in support of doing the pocket park. And if we want to have a joint meeting, or if we just want to invite them to the workshop, I'm not sure exactly how we want to have commission and council have the discussion on funding the pocket park. But right now, I do have support from the council and mayor to move forward on the project.
Very good. Do we have any kind of visual aid to be able to identify where it is, number one, and number two, what's it going to look like and what's going to be required to maintain it? I think we have the number, 110 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I was given the number 103 was the
103?
number that Tom gave me, so.
Yes, we do have it. I don't have it with me. I can be at the next meeting to show you.
Could you maybe do that at the workshop? And if we could get potentially council to join us in the workshop, we could have a good discussion, see it, and then I think the commission would be more inclined to take action or not, depends on how it looks. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Tom and I'll work on the timing, because what we would need is the pocket park itself is in the plan, and it's for the commission to decide to do or not to do. But the funding, if the city were to fund, we'd have to have a budget amendment done on the city side. So Tom and I'll work on coordination on making sure that as this lays out, if it does work, that everything comes out as it needs to. With a budget amendment, we have to have 2 weeks' notice on a public hearing, those kinds of things that have to happen, so.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse, just one question. Would that be a budget amendment for the 2014 budget or the 2015 budget?
That would be 2015 budget for the
That's what I
city.
thought. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because that wouldn't even be done until probably spring, is that right?
It would just, well, for our comfort zone, we want them to go ahead and approve it. If they're going to approve the project now, it wouldn't be spent till spring.
Right, yeah, so, okay, very good.
If I could, Shelley, different subject. Could you update us on the Highway 41 grant or project or that trail that the city was supposed to be getting some grant money for? Is there anything new on that?
No, I mean, it's right now just in the process, and so it'll, I think last I heard we'll be doing it in the spring. I think JUB was the one that was working on that, not Welch-Comer, so.
Okay.
I haven't really heard anything on it in the last month or two. The grant was approved and we have it in process, and they're doing some of the engineering closeout information on it, so.
Okay.
It's in our 2015 budget. I know that much.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Thank you, Shelley. That answer your question okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else on staff report and updates?
No, that's it.
Okay. Commissioner comments? All quiet on the Western Front. Okay, good. Chairman comments? Just once again, I appreciate all the work that you do as commissioners and the staff does. There's a lot of things that happen over a month's period of time that different ones get involved in. They spend a lot of time, and I think we all kind of take our turns at that. Good information coming out, and I think that the commissioners are working very well together with the part of the city of Post Falls at the forefront. And so I appreciate the work that you're doing and your dedication to stay the course and not be afraid to ask the questions and also not be afraid to hear the answers. So with that, I appreciate it. Again, staff in the back that keeps us electronically engaged, I appreciate that. And for all of you for consistently coming out here and sharing with us. So I don't have any other comments, and I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn this Urban Renewal Commission meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We are adjourned.